choose freedom over slavery and be prepared to do what is necessary to achieve that freedom over slavery. And when we do that and we mean it, there is a shift in our energy field. As that shift takes place, what I call magnetic attraction, it's the energy field is of the human body is an expression vibrationally of our state of being, mentally, emotionally, what we might call spiritually. And therefore, our state goes out as a vibrational field, and it draws in other vibrational fields that sync with it. We call these people, places, locations, ways of life, jobs, opportunities, or lack of them. So when this shift takes place, because we've said my intent, very powerful intent, is that I want freedom, and I want to end my life. I'm not going to be a slave anymore. I'll do what is necessary to understand who am I, where am I. Suddenly this energy field shift takes place, and we start drawing in new people, places, locations, opportunities, etc., that are syncing with the new vibrational state as opposed to the old one. And at this point, and I experienced this big time in the public eye, we experience this shift as our lives falling apart. Partnerships may end. We may lose our job. We may change location. We may, like me, undergo massive ridicule. But what if we understand what's happening? The old energy field, the old you, the old intent, the old awareness was pulling in the old life. And then when it shifts, it's pulling in a very different expression of the new vibrational self. And that transitional period, when the shift takes place, the old life falls apart. But if you want to change your life, then the old life has to fall apart unless it serves the new one. So when we choose freedom, the transformation can be challenging. It's easier now because more and more people are going through it and we're beginning to understand the process. I felt like this so many times. I went to the top of a hill in the south of England, the west of England, one day because I didn't want to upset anybody. I went to the top of this hill in the middle of nowhere and I screamed my frustration out. I know what this image means, and so many other people do. But it was the old life breaking down so the new one can take over. It's time to know thyself. Not thyself that we've been told we are, but thyself which we really are. This self, everything from the beginning, my birth, my ancestors, my children, my wife, everything comes together simultaneously. I saw everything about me, about everyone who was around me. I saw everything they were thinking now, what they thought then, what was happening before, what was happening now. There is no time, there is no sequence of events, no such thing as limitation of distance, of period of time, of place. I could be anywhere I wanted to simultaneously. That's who we are. And that's what the control system has tried to keep from us. Now, the way to go most powerfully with this change is to stop identifying who we are with what we are told we are, little me. To stop looking in the mirror and thinking that reflection is me, it's all I am. And looking at ourselves under the microscope, that's who I am. And bringing our point of observation from I am David Icke, a personality born in Leicester, England in 1952, to I am infinite consciousness, all that is, has been, and ever will be, can be, all possibility. Infinite love, having an experience through this lens into this reality that they call David Icke. And again, once we take this observation, from that observation, there is a fantastic shift in our energy field. And we break up these densities that are holding us in mental and emotional servitude. Everything starts to change when we move our sense of self-identity. That's why the control system wants us in there. It can't cope with this. We have to be in there. Little me. And this is the fork in the road. Are we going to live our lives as consciousness or mind? As all there is or little me? Because that will decide the kind of world we're going to live in. Escaping the box, and it is a box, it's a vibrational box. Getting out of this thing called cognitive dissonance, where we lie to ourselves. Cognitive dissonance is, for people who haven't come across it, it's a very powerful controlling mechanism whereby we have a belief about self or the world or a situation, and we're sticking with it. And when we face information or experience which challenges the belief, then cognitive dissonance is that uneasy state when you see that your belief system is under threat from this information or this experience. If this is real, then this belief can't be. And what you do then is you go about these incredible stories we tell to ourselves to convince ourselves that this can't be true, to protect the belief system. Cognitive dissonance can be a good thing if that dissonance leads you to look at your belief in the light of this experience or this new information, and then move the belief in the light of that. Then cognitive dissonance is a good thing. What most people do is try to hold the belief system in the face of this. And there's no greater example than the Skeptics Society. You ever come across them, the Skeptics Society? Bloody hell, they are cognitive dissonance.com, they are. I tell you. I've debated with some of them on television programs and stuff, and one of them, his bum kept bouncing on the seat. He had what they call Vitus dance, is it? My mother used to call it, where you can't stop moving, because he was in such cognitive dissonance, because the information he was hearing was so at odds with his belief system, he was kind of going crazy. And so you get people who come up with these amazing bloody stories to try to explain away why something is not challenging their belief system. So again, part of that blank sheet of paper is letting cognitive dissonance serve us. I'm going to look at my belief system instead of holding on till our knuckles turn white. Also, trying to avoid looking at the truth, because if we don't, we ain't going to change anything. Go beyond being in denial of what is happening in our lives and in the world, and start looking at it as it really is. It is what it is, because unless we look at things in that light, instead of trying to find wishful thinking reasons why actually it's not really like that, we're not going to change anything, because we're going to be in denial that anything needs changing. It is what it is, and we need to face it. And it's important to stress this. This control system, this reptilian control system, and in all its facets, is not all powerful, and it's not omnipotent. It's actually bloody stupid. You know, there's such a difference between being clever and being wise. It's very clever to build an atomic bomb, but it's not wise to do so. There is a difference between the two. And these people are very clever, but they're stupid. And cleverness without wisdom is the most destructive force on earth, which is why that's what they are. They have only managed to control humanity because they put us in a smaller box than they're in. Because of their mental and emotional state, fear, wanting to control because of fear and all the rest of it, they are in a vibrational box. They can't access any higher levels of awareness because of their mental and emotional state that's holding them in density, and their fear. Their fear is being passed on to us through this collective mind. So the only way that they can manipulate and control us is by putting us in a smaller box than they're in, and that's what the suppression of knowledge and awareness and consciousness has been all about. But as we open ourselves to the true nature of ourselves, we can move well beyond any area that they can access. So just because they're technologically advanced intellectually, it doesn't mean they have power over us and they're omnipotent and all-powerful. They're not. They're desperate. Desperate because of the numbers of them to the numbers they're trying to control. And the other thing, I use this analogy a lot, is, like I said earlier, we don't have to find enlightenment. We just have to open our programming to the enlightenment we already are. And it's a testament to the magnificence of what we really are, that this control system has had to throw everything at us. Look at it. All these facets, the food additives, the electromagnetic pollution, the programming through the media, the suppression of education, the suppression of science, all this stuff, they have to throw at us to keep us in servitude. It's like, I use this analogy, if you want to put a ball floating on a tank in an unnatural state, which is where we've been, you have to push it down and you have to hold it there. Because its natural state is floating on the surface, you have to hold it there, because the moment you let it go, zoom, it's gone into its natural state. And symbolically, we've been held on the bottom of the tank by all this stuff that's thrown at us from cradle to grave. And the fact that it needs so much to hold us in this suppressed state shows the magnificence and a genius that we really are, we once were and will be again. When I say we, I mean what we call humanity. So as the control system's ability to do that is unraveled, and this is happening, then we're going to go to the top of the tank again, not by finding enlightenment, but by removing that which is keeping us from it.